it's been the biggest lesson in staying true to yourself, but also not being stubborn and not holding a grudge with anybody. So anything that has happened to me since then in business, in my personal life, I somehow have been blessed from that situation with the insight and the belief that everyone's kind of doing their best. Someone does something wrong or hurts you or, makes a decision that perhaps wasn't the best. I think generally most people are doing the best with the lot, so to speak, that they've been given and their life experiences. And I hold no grudges towards him. I actually just think it's a shame. But I think this has dragged out until I'm now 31. So like 16, 17 years because someone has been so stubborn in so desperately wanting to be correct.
Welcome to Limitless, the podcast for cycle breakers, change makers, and conscious leaders who are done performing, proving, and pleasing, and are ready to live, lead, and create from deep alignment. I'm your host, Fiona Walsh. Every 2 weeks, I hold space for real soul-expanding conversations with guests who are still in it. They're navigating their biggest fears, shedding old identities, letting go of patterns that no longer serve them, and rising into their limitless potential. Together, we share what it's really like to be human, messy, raw, imperfect, and learning to own every part of ourselves, even the ones we've tried to keep neatly tucked away. We go deep into the work of coming home to yourself, getting out of your head, feeling safe in your body, letting go of old stories, and creating a life that's true to who you really are. Subscribing to Limitless is the best way to make sure you never miss an episode. So hit pause and tap follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Because this isn't about doing more. It's actually about remembering who you are. And that's what makes you limitless. Welcome to Limitless. Today, I'm joined by Emily Shimwell. She's an entrepreneur, human connector, community builder, and the founder of Dine Wilder, which is an events-based series here in Vancouver and Squamish. Emily is known for bringing people together in rooms where strangers quickly become friends. She creates incredible spaces where conversation flows, real stories are shared, and people feel safe enough to show up as their full, authentic selves. In a world where people are deeply craving connection, Emily's work centers around gathering people around a table or in a room and really reminding us what real human connection feels like. But the way Emily moves through the world today was shaped by a defining moment earlier in her life, one that taught her the importance of staying true to herself, even when the cost was incredibly high. In this conversation, we explore the power of connection, and connection is the theme of season 3 of Limitless. So Emily is such an aligned guest. We talk about why so many people are feeling disconnected despite being more digitally connected than ever in our lifetime. And we talk about the courage it takes to trust your own inner voice, especially when the world around you has very strong, loud opinions about how things should be done. There's a real warmth and infectious energy, magnetic energy to Emily. And she brings a natural way to making people feel really seen, really welcome, and really a part of something way bigger than she is. This episode is a powerful reminder that sometimes the simplest thing, like gathering people in your home or gathering at an event, can change everything. I'm so honored to have you here today, Emily. Welcome to Limitless.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yay. Okay, so we jump straight in on Limitless. I'd love you to take us back to a moment in time, a pivot point moment where you thought everything's going to change from here.
I have never told this story before, but when I was 15, I was on the way to my girlfriend's birthday party, my best friend who's just visited me actually in Canada. And my dad, who I was extremely close to at the time, was sat down in kind of like a very formal setting and asked me to sit down and asked me a question. He actually asked me, I'll just share the story. He asked me if I was on drugs, and I laughed as a 15-year-old would in response to a question that seemed wildly untrue.
Mhm.
And he said to me, after 30 years police service, I know that by laughing, that means you're lying. So I'm going to ask you once more, are you on drugs? And if you don't tell the truth, I'm going to disown you. And like, that's it. We won't speak again. And it was almost like my whole world flashed before my eyes, all of my years ahead of me and previous. And it sounds so dramatic, but that's what this moment was like. And I knew that whatever I said would have such weight and affect the future drastically. And I decided to give the honest answer. And I said, no, I'm not. And so that is the last time that I ever saw him, which is pretty wild to look
He
back.
didn't believe your answer.
Didn't believe me. And that was kind of the end of our relationship. So obviously there's like so much more that comes with that, but it's extremely high level. That's what happened. And it's been the biggest lesson in staying true to yourself, but also not being stubborn and not holding a grudge with anybody. So anything that has happened to me since then in business, in my personal life, I somehow have been blessed from that situation with the insight and the belief that everyone's kind of doing their best. Someone does something wrong or hurts you or, makes a decision that perhaps wasn't the best. I think generally most people are doing the best with the lot, so to speak, that they've been given and their life experiences. And I hold no grudges towards him. I actually just think it's a shame. But I think this has dragged out until I'm now 31. So like 16, 17 years.
Yeah.
Because someone has been so stubborn in like so desperately wanting to be correct. I don't think I care if people think I'm right or not. And I think I'm very quick to forgive and forget and just move on, whatever, let's go. Like, let's say sorry, let's move on. So it's had a really positive impact on me, actually. Like, obviously, extremely hard to go through as a teenager. I can only see positives from it. Yeah. It's like softened me, even though I almost think it's like a sliding doors moment. It could have hardened me, I think, but it's really like softened me to the human experience and to how people move through the world. And I actually just feel almost like a bit sorry for him that he feels so strongly that he has to stick to his word when I don't know if it really matters, especially my own children.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really fascinating because I had that lesson when I had kids because, when your kids play up and then you're like, in your head, you're like, oh, they're doing this because they're nasty or they're trying, and then you're like, they're 6. So this whole like switching to like seeing the best in everyone and that they're doing the best wherever they're at. And developmentally, adults, 45-year-olds, their inner child could be online, which means you were dealing with a 6-year-old. And I see like this is happening all the time around us.
Yeah.
And so seeing the best in people, I'm so on board with that. Like it makes such a difference. And, if you've got kids that have got, particularly, I've got one of my children who has troubles at school and sometimes is like physical. And like, I'm like, we shouldn't be looking at the external behavior. Let me take care of that at home because that's not acceptable. But like when a kid's acting out or an adult says something that's really horrible or like what your dad did, it's because there's something going on inside them that they're
Yeah.
responding to. And most of the time, it's got nothing to do with you, like as the person. So I love the detachment almost you have from it because you're not making it about you. Do you know what I mean? You said, like, I'm sorry for him because he's holding on to it because it is his thing. It's actually not yours. So it's a really beautiful lesson. And I wonder, has your lesson evolved over time? Like as you've gathered more experiences and I know you've moved around the world, you've had children yourself. Have you noticed that perspective has changed?
Um, no, I think I had the perspective almost immediately. Like I felt the same.
Mm.
Uh, Obviously, the hurt has disappeared, and I don't have that
Yeah.
attached. Well, I did once. We were living in Monkey Mire. We were visiting on Christmas Day, just above Perth, and it was just like this perfect moment that I'll never forget. I'm in the water, paddling in this beautiful ocean on Christmas Day. There was nobody there, and all of these dolphins. Have you been?
No, but dolphins are like my favorite animal in the whole world. So I've got like goosebumps you telling this
Oh,
story.
it's magical. Forever, the indigenous that live there have been feeding the dolphins every
Yeah.
morning. So they know to come in at a certain time and they're
Well,
just completely tame. And so they were all around my feet. And I just thought, oh my God, like this is incredible. And so I felt so inspired. This was maybe like 6 years later. I wrote him a letter on Christmas Day and like emailed it to say, do you know what? There's so much water at the bridge. We're never going to move on from this because I always know what your stance will be. So let's just like move on and start fresh. And I felt like I could like physically feel myself throwing him a lifeline.
yeah.
And he said, no, like not until we revisit the topic kind of thing. And I just thought, oh man, that was the moment.
Yeah.
It obviously just wasn't meant to be, but I just thought it was the moment where we could have moved on, but wasn't. And I think that's okay. And I also think there's so much weight that we give parents and like, you have to be in contact. The amount of people that say to me that know the whole story, but he's your dad. And I think, oh, I know. And he was the most amazing dad when he was there. I had like the best childhood ever. But maybe that was just like the chapter of us. And then I don't know.
Yeah.
Stay with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so fascinating. You said at the beginning as well, one of the lessons you had was really about staying true to yourself. Can you explain, like, if we double click, like, what do you mean by that?
Well, this week,
Yeah.
it means in my business, I've been really peeling back the layers of when do I ever feel overwhelmed or like I'm coming off course or I've lost my North Star somehow. And the golden thread every single time is that I have quietened my own inner voice and started listening to the amazing people around me. I'm so fortunate to be surrounded by the most insane women, men, mentors, everybody. And at the same time, the world of human connection, of experiences, of in-person events are so subjective. There's no right or wrong answer. But if I want to create something a little bit different, or if I'm guided by a slightly different North Star to somebody else, maybe I actually know. And maybe there's no right or wrong, but I think I need to somehow, as noisy as my world is in person, like quiet it a little bit and say thank you, take it, and then just like let go of the advice because I don't mean it in like a naive way of thinking I know better. I don't. But when you're trying to create something a bit different and you're really clear, I think I need to like put myself in a little bubble a bit.
Yeah.
So that's just be like my thought theme of the week is like, oh, maybe you know more than you give credit to.
Yeah, I love that. And I know when people are starting out in their business. And I'm like, absolutely was guilty of this. Before I even left corporate, I like set up calls with people to like check, is this going to work? Like I was outsourcing the decision. I was like getting external validation without realizing, oh yeah, you'll be great. You'll be a great this and that. Like it was just, and then over the course of the last period, I've realized that it just creates more noise and there is no right way to do it. But if you're like in alignment and like tuning in, that's actually what feels the best because you're like, oh, I'm doing it my way.
Yeah.
And not trying to like piecemeal different coaches and mentors and certifications and make it your own. It's just like, no, I'm just going to do me because that's enough.
There's just a lot of noise at the moment, isn't there? And I put myself in every single room available and sit at every table. And I love soaking up everyone's thoughts and opinions. Narrative I hear all the time is you need to be so clear on who your target audience is. Who are you serving? Who's the soul client in your marketing copy? Is it clear in your elevator pitch? Is it clear who your woman is? And I've been thinking, no, like, how can I be leading this brand if I can't even speak to the right human being? And then I had a really refreshing call with somebody yesterday, and he said to me, why? Why do you need to know? Your dinner tables are full. The conferences fill. You create your own niche. Just be more you.
Yeah.
And that will inadvertently make a number of people fall away and they won't be interested. And maybe more people who resonate will see more to latch onto and you will create the niche. And all women are welcome to your dinner table, but at the same time, it's not for everyone. So just say it's for women. If you want to pick a gender, or it's for, whoever's welcome. Everyone's welcome to a seat, but just do you. And I thought, why was I like swirling on who's this soul client? Like, cares? Just come if you want.
Yeah. I like so with you on that because I coach in my one-on-one coaching containers. I have more men at the moment than I have women. But when I started out, the two mentors and coaches that I was working with, they're like, you have to focus on burnt out women, like what my story was. And I was like, I was also like, I don't really want to be coaching burnt out people all day long. That's just like exhausting. Like I can help those people and some of my clients come in burnt out, but some of them come in and they're absolutely killing it, but they just want it. Like they're high performers who want to go up another 2 levels. And I'm like, yes, bring it. Like I love a mix of clients and I also like coaching men and women. So I was the same. I was like, this niche thing is stressing me out. So I'm just going to and the new mentor went, just leave the niche, stop stressing. Because as long as you show up as who you are, which is what you're doing, and you're speaking honestly and authentically, you attract your crew.
Yeah.
And I know like, just because of like my background from Australia, I can be really direct and I'm like an open book. So I don't really have many closed topics and I'll go where other people won't, which some people are like leaning in, like, give me more. And others are like completely freaked out. And I'm like, yeah, you're not. That's cool though. You can self-select. That's your choice.
Totally agree.
And it's so empowering.
Fun. Yeah, it is.
Isn't it? I love that he gave you that advice because you are clearly doing something incredible because the movement, I want to call it, you're creating in Dine Wilder. And I want you to talk to it a little bit because a lot of people listening won't have heard about it. Those in Vancouver will probably know who you are, but I have people listening from all over the world. It seems like really it's women, but like when you look at the photos, there's different ages. And as we were talking about, there's sometimes a theme of what people wear, but then when I look at the photos, some people are in like, it's a very diverse, eclectic crowd. And I love that. So talk about your North Star and like, where did the inspiration come to start what you're doing with your business?
The more I've been asked recently, the more, as like such a cliche, it's just like from me being tiny, this is so obvious. Like it's so obvious. I would be gathering strangers around the dinner table. It's like all I've known since I'm little. And my mum is so amazing at being the hostess with the mostess with no fuss. And I know so many women, like the Martha Stewart era, and then now like the Instagram, whatever it is, this social media era where I think people are hosting for it to look beautiful. My mum nailed the feeling. And so, of course, this also looks beautiful, but it's all about the feeling. And I think that's why it's so successful, because it feels different. So I have a catering business as well. And I slowly realized over the years that what I loved about the catering business was that the food was bringing people together. And so that became my tagline, bringing people together.
Mhm.
And I realized my passion wasn't spent making it behind the scenes to not watch anyone enjoy it. I want it to be at the deliveries, and I want it to overstay at the stranger's baby shower or whatever it is. So it became the joke of, you need your own events business. Like, you need to be allowed to be at the event. All the while, I'm, of course, hosting at home a lot in a very relaxed way with new babies, and everyone would just come over all day long and drink 1,000 cups of tea and sit on the floor and make a mess on the house where people can spill their wine, the kids can do crafts. We just feels homey. So not last year, the year before, from the 1st of January to my birthday on the 1st of June, I started this little like secret self-assessment that I didn't tell anyone that I was doing. And I'm a huge list writer. So at the end of every night, I would look at my list in bed and think, what have I done and what have I procrastinated on? Everything that I'd done, I highlighted in one color. And the thing that was getting carried over to the next day, I would highlight in another color. And I gave myself this deadline of the 1st of June to like have some kind of idea of a new business I wanted to start, because I knew my youngest was turning 2 soon and would be going into some kind of care. So I'd have a little bit more time. And so on my birthday, I got these lists out on my own and thought, well, what's the golden thread? My mum's question is always, what's the golden thread?
Yeah, love it.
And I thought, it's human facing. Anything that gives me the little dopamine hit of meeting a stranger, be it the post office, the supermarket, wherever, I'm doing it. And it's being ticked off with the kids in tow. And the things that are being carried over are the bookkeeping, are the, anything behind the screen that isn't me and you talking or me creating and writing. I'm leaving it. So I thought, well, that's easy. I just need to get paid to meet strangers. And I love it. It seems so simple. And so during this process, there was 5 homes in a row that I also delivered to, a charcuterie platter. And the woman would say to me, I'm so disconnected. And so it all kind of happened all at once, where I thought, well, I'm really connected. I can't bear the thought of them feeling disconnected. So I thought, well, let's just have them all over in my garden and I'll do this brunch. And then I always do everything on such a ridiculous scale that I decided, well, before we'd even hosted, this is going to be the biggest dinner series in North America. And this is going to be on magazine covers, this dinner in my garden. And it's going to be massive. And there's going to be a story about how this comes to be. And I think I'll tell the story on stages. And I'm getting like so carried away. And everyone's looking at me like, you've not even done one. And I was like, I know, but we need a website and we need this and we need that. And then I started researching how so many women follow their passion because we're told to. And then it becomes a hobby business or a lifestyle brand, which if you peel back the layers of almost all of these, they're not making anyone any money. So they either have a full-time job that we don't know about and they host a dinner for very cheap on an evening and it looks stunning, but it's not profitable. Or, a partner earns the money or whatever. But it's a service that they're providing. And so from day one, I thought, well, I want to monetize this service and make it a career. And if I'm just the host connecting people, I can then bring in the very best chefs and photographer and speaker and all the things. And we'll build up to that, which will make the event so much more high level than me trying to wear all these different hats. All I have to do is connect the people. And then all of the things are now starting to happen that I knew. Just
think
knew.
so. Like manifested it all.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Can I go back, like way, way back to ask you to share with people? Because one of the things you shared was really, really resonated with me around how you saw your mum hosting as a child with ease and flow and all about the feeling and maybe not crazy expectations is really important because that's how you sort of run your events now. I know a lot of people grew up in houses where and I'm speaking from experience, and my mum's a really great hostess and so was my grandma, but the event was always great, but the lead up was stressful.
Oh.
Like there were lists and we were sweeping the driveway and mum and dad were fighting and they never fought. Like, do you know what I mean? And it was like always immaculate, the execution, but the lead up was like, and I have had to really work on that as a mum because I was avoiding hosting altogether because I didn't want to have to go through all the stress.
Yeah.
And so for people who are like me, who are trying to break this patterning, or people might be sitting there going, oh shit, I do that. That's me. What are some things that people can do to get more into the flow and the feeling?
I think we undervalue the hosting venue or container, home, whatever. And we think we then need to provide and wear every single hat.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of people don't feel comfortable opening up their home for so many reasons. Hugely, though, the perfectionism that they want to have.
How it looks. Yeah.
So if you're even contemplating opening your front door to another family or another person, they're already so happy that they're not doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that it's not their house.
Yeah, you've already won and provided an amazing experience, giving them somewhere else. When you're in a new space that's not your own, we are also blind to the mess, to the chaos, to the imperfections everywhere.
Yeah.
We don't see them because we don't care, because we don't have to clean them up.
You know? Yep.
So just, I think it helps. Imagining yourself entering someone else's house. Would you have any judgment for some dirty glasses on the side, for the carpet not being vacuumed? Like,
yeah, no, you're just like super grateful that you're not hosting. It's so true. We went to a friend's on the weekend and like, we all took food and stuff. I was so grateful it was at their house. And then at one stage, one of my kids was like, "Oh, the ball went under the couch, but I don't want to get it out because it's really dirty under the couch." And that is so relatable, right? And my friend straight away, she was like, "Oh, the cleaner's coming on Monday." And we were like, "You do not need to defend yourself. You've got all of us here. Thank you for having us." But it showed this is really deep programming that so many of us have, that we have to have this clean, perfectly presented house, which is usually not realistic if you've got young kids. And it doesn't need to be perfect either.
Doesn't need to be perfect. And do you know what I've started doing since I've been working much longer hours? I have realised that I've stopped inviting people I don't know as well over so much for dinner, because I've got time to finish work at 5, go and get the kids, get home and somehow make a meal in time for them getting back.
Mm-hmm.
So I now look back over the last few months and I think it has stopped me hosting a little bit, just because I can't cook, not because everything's not perfect.
Yeah.
Or friends came over last night on a Monday night and they said, "What should we bring?" And I was like, "Sushi. Bring the sushi." And if you tell the person that's coming to bring something, they feel so helpful. Everyone's stoked to be given something. The answer that we're programmed to give is nothing, just bring yourselves, bring your beautiful face, bring your, no, give them something to bring.
It's actually part of it's a delegation skill, isn't it? knowing what would be helpful because everyone wants a job. If you don't have a job or something to bring, you'll end up creating something and go and buy it or make it or a gift. You know what I mean? Like it's so hilarious. Yeah. But if you give them a job, they're like, great, I'm useful. I'm coming with something. I'm contributing. I love it.
Yeah, it was so nice. So just like let the perfectionism go. We're
Yeah.
not going to be like 80 years old and remember either how happy and perfect we felt and the house looked while we sat there on our own, surely. Or we're not going to be worried that the laundry basket was overflowing when someone 60 years ago, whose name we probably don't even remember, but who we loved at the time, came over. Like, just have them over. You probably remember the stories and the feeling and, the shared experience. Just let go of the perfectionism.
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much. It's just so true. I also love that you hosted a Saturday night recently because you shared it on your Instagram where it was like, I'm providing the venue, but nothing else. And I'm like, I think everyone needs to do this. It's like the front door is open, bring your wine, bring your kombucha, whatever you want, and food if you plan to eat. But I'm just providing the space. Thank you for coming. It was so liberating to see.
I voice noted whoever came to mind 2 hours before, thinking no one would come. And about 17 people came. And I said to them, don't knock. I can't be bothered getting up. Like, just come in, bring whatever you want. I've got wine. I've got San Pellegrino. Otherwise, I have nothing else. Come. And you know what? It was the most fun evening I've had in ages.
Oh.
And it took me back to the why of Dine Wilder. And I'm sat there like mentally writing all these newsletters and captions and all, like rewriting my website because it was just sparking so much creativity because I was like off. I wasn't working.
Yeah.
It was a really good reminder to like keep doing it when you're not making money from it. Just because we've started to make money or we're trying to monetize something, we then lose our love for it a little bit sometimes, or I don't know, you've got a different desired outcome maybe. So yeah, it was really refreshing. And I think everyone else just felt like a bit liberated. It was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 100% going to try it because I feel like, when you haven't seen some of your girlfriends for a while, but it's like, everyone's like, oh, my house is dirty. Or people like, I'm not working at the moment, so I don't really have enough money to go to a restaurant. And like, so we put up all these barriers and it's like, we just want to sit in the same space and catch up. It doesn't actually, the rest of it shouldn't matter, but we put all of that ahead of the connection, which is just what we want, which is so interesting how we do that.
Sat on the furniture. Everyone sat on the floor.
Awesome.
It was so good.
Oh, I love it. Do you think people are like craving connection now more than ever?
I mean, it's what we're told. That's all like, the algorithm and you see what you want to see. So all I see is that people are craving connection. I know they are because they come and I'm told that that's how they feel.
Yeah.
I think I almost like undermine how disconnected some people feel. Sometimes I know it to be true, but sometimes I'm so in my little bubble, speaking to strangers, like talking to everybody, that I just think, oh, well, surely everyone's having this experience of life. And then when someone stops me and says, like, how do you speak to a stranger in a coffee shop? Like, what do you do when you go to a networking event? I think, oh my God, they need help talking to a stranger. So I'd like to do a bit more of that, I think, like talking to people about it, because to me, it's just like second nature. But yeah, I think people are very disconnected and are waiting. And some events are a bit clunky almost because people aren't quite sure. Not Dine Wilder, but some things I go to, you can tell people don't quite know what is the etiquette in that particular room. I greet everyone with a cuddle, whether they like it or not. When they walk in, I just can't not. And I can tell some people think like, oh my God, what is this? And as soon as I've hugged them, you can like physically feel their barriers melting away. It's almost like just what they needed.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. I ran a retreat in deep COVID at the end of January, an evening one. And like I'm a big hugger as well. So like greeted everyone with a hug. And I had a couple of them in the room who would identify as really strong introverts. And the best feedback that I always get is from the introverts when they're like, I felt comfortable within the first few minutes. And I'm like, yes, because it's all about energy and feeling. It's not like, not your run of play or anything else. It's like what's the energy that you're bringing into the room, and can you make them feel into it and feel safe as soon as they arrive?
Me too. I love it when someone who is the polar opposite to me
Yeah.
says, I was so nervous. I was so stressed to come, or I didn't want to come. I love it when someone says, I didn't want to come. It's like my favorite thing to hear, because they came, they dared to come, and then they left. Someone's review at the weekend was, I left feeling lighter and more connected. And I was like, well, win. Like, that's the goal. If one person felt like that, the whole event was worth it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Have you always been super outgoing and extroverted? Because it sounds very like unconscious for you just to connect with anyone everywhere. It's just who you are. Has that always been Emily?
Yeah, completely. And people are always surprised when they hear that I'm an only child. There's just like shock on their faces every single time. Or they say, which I think is the funniest sentence, like, oh, you don't seem like an only child. We've got like this really bad reputation for not being social, not sharing, not being collaborative.
Yeah.
My mum wanted so many children. She wanted a house full and wasn't able to. So instead, I think what she did was go the opposite direction and like created it herself in another way through me, had all of my friends over all the time. Like holidays, everything. I was just surrounded by friends all the time. And because they were so social, my parents, they hosted like folk clubs, and we have a canal boat, and everything was at our house, like 40 people for Sunday dinner or Christmas dinner, and the milkman's there and the window cleaner. And
I love it.
it's just all I've known, to speak to strangers and be interested in someone's story who's different to me.
Yeah. So, so powerful. And it's a really, really good insight for people who might be bringing their kids up in a bit of a bubble, because it's easier that way. And maybe you're just seeing the people at your school or your daycare to like get out there and let your kids meet kids from other parts of the city you live in. Or like, that's what once our kids we travel as much as we can with our kids. It's expensive because we have 3. But like when we took them to Thailand, and we were like, we also don't travel like in 5-star. We like try and keep it as close to what I used to travel like when I used to have a backpack on my back, because I want the kids like meeting local kids and like eating at restaurants where they don't want to eat anything on the menu is almost like a win for us, because I really want them to experience like diversity.
Yeah, completely. I just left a conversation actually in a coffee shop with someone who was asking about my children. And I said, I think like even being in the grocery store, we allocate double the length of time than anyone else would normally. And I don't see it as a chore. People tell me all the time, you can get your food delivered. You don't have to take the kids there. And I'm like, God, I want to expose them to strangers. This is like so much fun. Encouraging them to be trusting of strangers. I do actually get quite a bit of pushback from friends, because they say you shouldn't be so trusting, and all these things. And again, your own life experience definitely depends on how you feel about how your kids move through the world, kind of thing. But me, and I can see in my kids, it made me feel part of something bigger than our insular family. And I think I feel more trusting because the strangers I would be around and the people, like we would go to a pub for dinner and we'd end up sat with another family like every time. I don't know for us to ever be on our own. And there was just so much storytelling around me. They would then latch on to me as the only child in the environment and would just kind of like raise me immediately. And my mum would be very trusting of me too. When I was really little, we were sailing through the canals of the UK. I don't know where. I think somewhere like near Stonehenge. So like so much history. And it was this ancient pub, like falling to pieces, but had been that way forever. And this old witch-like looking woman walked in. And now I see it all happening in a different way as the mum. But she said to my mum, this stranger, "Can I speak to your daughter?" Well, most mums, I think, would say, no. Like, no, you're not speaking to my 7-year-old daughter. But she took me to the side. And now I see and think, oh, I'd do the same. Yeah, of course, speak to him. Go and speak to him. But now I'm around mums. I don't know any of them who would have said, oh, yeah, take her to the side and have a word with her. This woman grabbed me and it really actually affected my life so much, even if there's no truth in it. She said to me, I read auras and you have this shining golden aura that's so bright that I've never experienced before. And it was drawing me to the pub. And as I walked in, you were there and it's coming from you. And she said, you're going to create some really special things. And this doesn't resonate with my mum, I don't think at all. My mum is much more like science-based. So it's not like we have this weird, not weird, but it's not like we're like all super woo-woo, you know?
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
And it's interesting because it then like, did that become a self-fulfilling prophecy that I was so little and she influenced me so much, telling me this positive information. I now move through the world believing it to be true. Even if it isn't, which is quite empowering as a mom, because I know that I have loads of influence over my kids and how they perceive themselves to be.
Yeah.
Even if there's no hard facts attached to it. But it was just like a symbol of like how trusting my mum was with strangers for this random woman to walk in and take me at 7 and tell me information.
Yeah, I love that. And it is interesting because we can try and make sense of the why behind how it's impacted your life. But it's a beautiful gift that she gave you. And particularly because how she looked might have turned some people off. But she planted a seed in you, which I'm like, everyone has different beliefs on this, but you do have a real like aura and energy about you. And I'm sure people tell you that. I mean, even in the work you do, you can see it. So whether or not, I mean, my guess is that you were shining brightly as a little child, and whether or not her validating that did spark this, that you believed it in yourself too, it doesn't really matter. It's more just like, you're an energy being and some people are more high vibe, magnetic than others. So what a gift she gave you. And awesome that your mum trusted her.
Yeah, my mum's so trusting. So is my gran.
Yeah, I love it.
Sometimes it like gets my back up a little bit because people want it to be because I'm young and naive. And it's always like, oh, just wait till you're only 31. Like, wait till you've got another 10 years. You won't feel like that now. You won't feel as fabulous then. You'll be so tight, it'll all catch up on you. And every time I just think, do you know what though? My mum's 60 odd and my gran's 89. My gran is like the most radiant energy in the. So I don't buy it. I think it's here forever.
Yeah. Well, and like the reality is that even if some hard stuff comes out, you can always work through it. You don't need to get stuck in the like, this is a hard chapter in my life. Everyone has a choice at any moment of any day. Do I stay stuck or do I make a choice to get out of it? And sometimes that choice requires pulling in support and stuff. But like, I don't believe that when people are like, oh, I'm like this, I'm going to be this, like this. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're like 40. Are you just like signed up to the shitty club for the next 40 or 50 years? I'm telling you right here now that you have a choice. Do you want to stay? Are you signing on the line or do you want to come like, because I talk about being limited or limitless. Like you can stay in the fear and the all the stuff, like all the people saying, oh, you shouldn't let your kids talk to strangers. Like it's very limited. Or you could be like, but when I was a little girl, this woman told me this, and like, it's just, you can see the difference in the energy. Do you like contract and pull back because you're scared? Or do you like lean into the possibility, which is magical? I love your mum and your gran that they've passed that down to you. And I'm sure that your boys are going to be picking up on that too every single day. It's such a gift.
I hope so. If Jack, my 5-year-old, ever has any self-doubt, I'm just like floored by it. I think, how could he ever? How could he ever have any self-doubt? To me, that's like me being a complete failure. If he questions being able to do anything, I take that really personally. And I say to people like, how is he doubting himself? He's come from me.
Yeah.
And so it's like my life mission. The 3-year-old's like, thinks he can take over the world and will. And my eldest has more of the doubt. And it like bothers me sometimes.
Yeah, that's interesting. Are you comfortable like leaning into it with him to understand what's motivating it?
Yeah, we do. I think he's also just a lot smarter than me, and he's a lot more logical. So he's preparing for risk, and he's strategically planning things out already. You know, I make a thought and he sits there, and instead of going and grabbing the toys, and I know this is so minor, but to me, you can just see them as a 40-year-old and how it all plays out in the real world. He's like planning which toys he'll bring in, sketching the toys, which will it fit in here? Where I'm screaming inside, just go and get it. Like, just go and try it. And Wilf's already got all his toys and he's having fun. But Jack is like so much more intellectual than I am and is making the great decision to think it through before, which is what we should probably do. I just don't. And again, neither's better than the other. But yeah, I think he just maybe thinks things through a bit more and can foresee things that are going to go wrong, which I don't hear. I want to find that out while I'm in it and it's going wrong. I will see that as a negative that he's predicting it.
Yeah,
it's just clever.
yeah. Is your partner more like him?
Yes, so much more like Jack.
Yeah. Because they're like, I mean, they pick up this stuff from epigenetics through cells and genes and stuff, but they also pick it up from what they see from in our household. So I feel like, yeah, I'll look at that in my kids and I'll be like, I don't like to label it that's from me or that's from my other half because that's not always accurate either. But it's so interesting when you see, like I have twins and they're identical. So they started as the same set of cells. Wow. But when I see them approach different situations, I'm like, my mind is just blown. Like I feel like it's a lot of hard work, but it's also the biggest gift. If you're into like humans and human connection and seeing how two people who started out as the same clump of cells interpret different situations or how they show up or when one of them has a meltdown and one of them is fine, it is like the coolest experiment of life that I found myself in, which I absolutely adore.
I bet there's some good books on that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's so many interesting things that happen. And it also, the other thing that I have shared before is it totally blows up. You ever thought you could predict human behavior? It is like an absolute schooling and that you have no idea. Oh, I love it. How do you stay connected to yourself? Because you've talked a lot about connecting to others and creating events where other people connect. How do you connect in with yourself and your inner voice?
I stay up far too late on an evening, as my mum and my gran do. And when the house is quiet, I write a lot and I create. And I didn't used to think I was creative because I thought that was like making a piece of art. Now that can also be writing a newsletter or writing an Instagram post. To me, that seemed less than to do that. It seemed like a cheap version of creativity. Saying, oh no, it's not. It's just like my version of it. So I do that and I run a lot on my own. I say I'm like terrible at it, but I do seem to run for quite a while and I like to exercise on my own. I'm so community based. Everybody wants me to go to all of these workout classes and all of these social things. And I only realized it in the last few months. I do go to a Pilates studio, but it's quite insular being on the reformer on your own. It's very like classically based. that's my one time I actually don't want to connect with anybody. I don't want to do any exercise for social engagement. And I just problem solve and dream and feel like I can take over the world and all the amazing things while I'm in my own little bubble.
Mm. Yeah, I have that same state of flow in yoga. Like, like you might be in a room with 40 people, but I'm on my mat in my own little vortex of like what's coming next and what ideas are going to come in. And I always say that to people, if you're trying to put yourself out there and make new friends and stuff, yoga is not the activity because it's very like solo. You might to have a little chat as you walk out, but it's not like tennis or something where you can chit chat the whole time. It's very much an inward focus. I love that. So when you're pounding the pavement running, are you just in like full flow state?
Some days, the moment I put my runners on, I'm like, oh, I can't do this. This is terrible. I hate doing this. How many minutes have I gone? Da, 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 da.
All the voices.
Yeah. And then, you've done like 8K and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm in total flow. I just have to push through that.
Yeah.
And then I find it. I just problem solve a lot. Or like, if I get some big emails or opportunities arrive on a morning, I won't respond to them and I'll go for a run and then I have the perfect response in the afternoon afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's another great example of like why they say if you're sitting at your desk in front of your laptop and you're stuck or you don't have an answer, go out for a walk or go and move your body, be it a run or a walk, whatever works for you, or yoga, because the answer's inside of you. It's just that your mind is just absolutely keeping you stuck. So I love that you use running for that. It's really powerful. And it keeps you nice and fit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I know that you have shared about putting yourself first as a mum particularly. And I know this is a really hard thing for lots of mum. And I'm much better at it now, but it's definitely a work in progress. I used to put my kids, my partner, my work, everyone before me. I was 100% at the bottom of the list. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about your journey. Have you always been like that, or is it something you've learned along the way, the importance of putting yourself first over other people and especially your kiddos?
No, I think for the first few years, had an amazing group of mum friends in the first year, and then all of them went back to work and I didn't. I stayed at home and I just felt like I had to throw myself so heavily into that role of motherhood. Housewife, I suppose. I had Dine Wilder as well, the charcuterie business, but I think I wore it as a badge of honor that I took no time for myself. And, I thought, well, why would I ever burden anyone else? I don't have family here anyway. And my husband's been at work all day. How could I possibly, when I've done nothing, I say my quotation marks.
Yeah.
It's actually like the hardest job. It's way harder than being at work, having a new baby, isn't it?
Way harder. When I had the twins at home and at the end of the day, I'd be like, I've literally got nothing done. And my other half would be like, you kept 2 small babies alive and you actually feed them as well as keeping them alive. And I was like, but nothing. Like it was, because I wanted like the check box and all the things that, crazy.
Yeah, completely. And good for him that he recognized that. But I just felt like I couldn't possibly have burdened my husband when he got home. He would have been like the most supportive for me to go and do whatever. But I got always exclusively breastfed, which meant that there was never an opportunity to be away from them by choice. And a total blessing that I was able to do that. But I just thought, this is what I'm doing for this period in my life. And so if I want to exercise, I'll exercise with the baby. And then I just got to total exhaustion, like real exhaustion. And it takes a lot for me to get there.
Yeah.
It's because I was working at the same time as having these babies. And my littlest, Wilf, had an undiagnosed dairy intolerance, which I kind of discovered myself, but he had not stopped crying for months on end. Like, honestly, it was like so intense crying, got to the point where I couldn't even like answer the phone and take any orders.
You're screaming.
Because he was just screaming night. And one day I handed him to Dean and said, I can't be his mum. And I definitely didn't have postnatal depression and I wasn't depressed. I was just really exhausted. And it's not because I don't want to say that I had depression. It's more just I know I've had friends who have and it was nowhere near how they felt. It was just real exhaustion. And I walked out the door and I got in the footwell of the car on the driveway and I slept for 3 hours. And it was the first 3-hour stint I'd had in like 6 months. And I think I like woke up realizing, well, it's just like such a cliche, isn't it? But I just realized like, go and put your own oxygen mask on.
Go first, yeah, 100%.
How can you look after anyone this tired? And so I started going for the odd jog on my own, to the odd class on my own, for a coffee, to work, undisturbed. Your nervous system as a mom is so attached to that child. And I'm like very chill as a mom. I can actually like, I think I can block out the crying a little bit and like, I'm not on edge necessarily. But even if I felt like my nervous system was on edge, I can't imagine how some mums must feel who are so emotionally attached to the child. I just completely underestimated how valuable it is to have some physical distancing from them, even for half an hour.
Yeah.
And so from there on, I leaned into, let's go and recharge my own batteries. And now I'm like really good at it. I'm really good at not, doing something for myself.
Yeah. Well, and I was similar and I got really exhausted with my first one because he didn't sleep at all. So I was like, and during the day, he didn't nap for more than, sometimes he'd have 20-minute naps unless he was like on me because he was so dysregulated. I didn't understand that at the time. Now I get it. But I love now when my kids are like, oh, you're going to yoga. And I'm like, see ya. And they're like, why are you going? I'm like, see ya.
And now I think it's them a service too, because I want them to see me looking after myself. If they watch me burn out for that, what is that even teaching them? Like,
totally.
Thing.
Yeah.
And whilst my mom, I can't even fault her, honestly. I know most people can think of 1,000 things that they would improve upon of their childhood. The only thing I can possibly think of that she could have done different is maybe looked after herself a little bit. But she never mourned and she wasn't a martyr and she just would say she's had the best life.
Yeah.
The hardest I've ever seen anyone work. To complete burnout at times, but I have one memory of her leaving with a yoga mat under her arm once. And that was the only time I think I remember her doing it. And then probably when her and my dad split up past me being 6, I don't remember her doing anything for herself anymore. She would argue that the hosting was for her. And that's what she says is like her wind down was cooking.
That was her like me time was the hosting. Yeah.
And I get that actually, because I'm the same. People are like, slow down with the events. I'm like, why? This fills my cup.
Yeah. And everyone gets their energy from different things. Some people need to be like in a dark room, like with meditation music on, and you sound like 6 people randomly showing up with a bottle of champagne. You're like, yes, like that's your best winder. So I think it's like, I love this conversation because I think it's really cool just to show the differences in how people like to recharge. And if you're like, you might be tired on a Friday night, but sometimes you might want to like chill on the couch and watch a movie. But other nights, if you've got people coming over once they arrive, you're like, oh my God, this is awesome. And I love this. As long as I don't have to cook, I'm good. Like,
and I thought I was doing something wrong. Again, everyone's opinions.
Yeah.
People, as you said, look so different. And so it would be pushed down my throat that I needed to stop, that I needed to relax. And I now realize like, even when I'm very tired, I'm not running to change anything about how I look. I'm running because I find it relaxing.
Yeah.
To me, the thought of sitting on the couch and turning the TV on that actually like fills my body with anxiety. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't think of anything worse than doing that. And I used to feel so awkward or like feel like I had to explain myself.
Mm.
My dream relaxation is to clear my inbox on my own, like undisturbed. Let me do admin. That's like my perfect way to relax. And it's so boring.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do. But because people see it as work, it's like you need to switch off. And I think, oh, but this is my favorite thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a really good reminder for people to stay out of advice mode and just be more curious around like when you run, how does it make you feel? Or why do you run? Rather than like assuming she runs because she wants to stay a certain shape and size and fit into that jeans. And you know what I mean? All the stories we tell ourselves because
Yeah.
no one lives in your world. The lens through which you view the world is your own one. And you shouldn't like projecting that onto others is never the right thing to do. And also giving advice to others, I also think is really should be done with a lot of caution, but there's a lot of advice monsters who have good intentions, but like out there, I find that I'm more likely now to be like, thanks. I don't, yeah.
Everyone has really good intentions, but sometimes as well, people will offer it and it'll be brilliant constructive criticism, but they have no idea that I've received another 6 pieces of constructive criticism. And although I've got very thick skin, by the 7th person, it makes you want to run away a little bit.
Totally.
Like too much. And then it looks like you've been tipped over the edge or you're too sensitive or whatever from this piece thing. It's not. It's the accumulation all day of the stranger stopping me, questioning the dinner ticket price point. It's the email. It's your husband asking you something. It's like all these things layer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually like can wear you down a bit. So you need to protect your energy massively.
Yeah.
So I've become quite strict in my spare time with like, who is pouring into my energy? Because otherwise I'm just a fountain for everybody else. Like, and that's fine. And that's what I'm put here to do. But sometimes I want to be filled up. And what I really value, and a few friends have done this in the last year, and I've stopped them to thank them before they've even continued. When someone says to you, do you want advice or do you just want me to listen? It's like,
it is my go-to when someone, because a lot of people come to me and I'm like, do you want me to coach? Which is not, that's asking questions. Do you want advice or do you just want me to listen? And people are like, and I'll tell you 99% of the time, people say, I just want you to listen. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, when you're in the thick of an emotion about a situation, when you relay it to somebody else, not only are they only getting half the story because you're only telling them what's hot off the press, when they offer a solution, you don't want to hear it. A lot of it, you just need to share it.
And I think that there's a real bias in most people to try and fix it because they're wanting to help.
Yeah.
And actually, most of the time, just sitting with someone in their discomfort or their heavy emotion, that is the gift that you can give them, and literally not saying anything.
Yeah, completely. And also I think I don't know if this is correct, you tell me, but I think men want to fix. And so particularly in my husband, when he does it, I'm trying to be more patient with him, thinking that's how he's wired up.
Yeah.
That's how he's receiving it, that he needs to fix it for me. Yeah, it's so interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gender specific. I think that one of the other things that's really interesting, because I observed this in the little retreat that I hosted at the end of January as well, because I was listening to different women interact in the conversations and stuff. When people are saying I'm stuck in a loop and it's very much like feeling or emotion based, it's like it's actually in your body, right? This is where it's stuck. And when we're fixing, it's coming from a cognitive solution based thing. So you could have the best ideas in the world and keep pinging them at you, but this is where they're stuck. It's not up here. And so you're sort of, without understanding the neuroscience and the somatics, you're just like wasting words and probably pissing them off or overwhelming someone who's already like just needs you to sit with them in their emotion. And then once they feel it, they're actually going to be okay. So it's really fascinating how so many people don't understand that. Yeah.
So I try to be that friend of like, do you want a solution or just want me to listen? And it feels valuable to be able to offer that.
Yeah. Yeah. When I heard that on Brene Brown's podcast, I was like, when you like stop the car, and I was like,
where it comes from.
Well, that's what I heard. I'm sure other people have like, and I'm pretty sure it probably was hers just because of who she is. But like other people share it too. But like, I remember being like, oh my God, this is one of the most powerful pieces of information for me to remember for the rest of my life.
Agreed.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Okay, Emily, I ask you one final question and then we're going into rapid fire. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Transformation often happens in small intentional steps. It's these like micro movements rather than these huge like quantum leaps or jumps. Based on your incredible life journey to date, what's one small step or action our listeners could take this week to unlock their limitless potential?
I schedule my exercise 30 days in advance, which is very un-Emily.
Yeah.
I'm so spontaneous, and it has forced me, that is the oxygen mask going on without me any decision. And I firmly believe in habit stacking. And so now it's just like a non-thought, like, oh, there is an hour every single day.
Yeah.
Started that last January 1st. And so I did it every day last year.
And are you like a lot fitter and stronger?
Yeah. And more just like a bit more centered and grounded, I think.
Yeah. Because
even like more than that, it's more just saying that you're going to do something and then sticking to it. And it's been a good lesson in putting myself first, almost more than the fitness. When someone asks for a meeting at X time, it's like, oh no, I have a meeting. And at first people would say, what is it? And I'd give reason to it. And now I'm just like, well, it doesn't really matter what it is. That's what's happening. Like, that's what happens every day at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I've talked to people about this, and I'm like guilty as charged, when you have some personal commitment in your calendar and then someone asks for it, now I'm like, pretend it's a doctor's appointment to myself. Because if you're a people pleaser, you will be like, oh, I'm moving in. And when you do that, you self-abandon. Whereas every time you go for a run or Pilates, like every time you are putting coins in the self-trust jar, rather than every time you reschedule to fit somebody else in ahead of you time, you're putting coins in the self-abandonment jar. And tell me, like the self-abandonment jar, when it gets full, you're a resentful human being and you didn't even mean to. So it's like so powerful to know those two sides of the coin.
Somebody wanted a call today at 3:30 and I said, I can do 4. And she was really pushing for 3:30. I didn't tell her why, but I just thought, I'm going to show up better at 4:00 for you. We're all going to benefit if I can go for this run for an hour. So just let me.
Love it. All right, let's wrap it up. Rapid fire time. What's your superpower?
Connecting people.
Yeah. What's the biggest misconception people have about you?
That I'm a perfectionist.
Oh, that's interesting. What's something you believe for years that you now know is complete bullshit?
Ooh, that I don't know. I don't know. Okay. It's good for me. And I'm going to come back with an answer later on. I do know what I've ever believed that I now know isn't true. Other than I didn't want to give the same answer, but that you have to serve everyone else first. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Putting yourself before others. Yeah. I love that. When you hear the word limitless, what are like 3 words, feelings that are evoked for you?
For some reason, I hear worldwide. When you say it, my brain says worldwide. Yeah. Just like sky and possibility. And I sometimes do psychedelic journeys and psilocybin journeys, sorry. And that really shows you what limitless is. And I don't know that,
I've done one. Yeah.
that's what I picture, being in the and just seeing like solar
Yes.
of space.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool. I've actually never thought of it like that, but that's exactly. I remember like 10 minutes in, I was like, whoa, this is. Okay, awesome. And finally, last question. When you're feeling a little down or low, do you have a song that you like to put on that lifts your mood and vibration?
I kind of find one song per week and all so much that then nobody else around me wants to hear it ever again. That's what I do. And I don't pay for ads on Spotify. So it tends to be whatever ad comes up, I end up liking. I'm not really into music that much.
Yeah.
So I often, like this week, so random, it's Pocket Full of Sunshine by Natasha Bedingfield. It's like whatever comes on, I just fall in love with it. And then I just keep going and going. And then I'm sick of it.
You do it to death and you're like, next week, new song. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, that's so cool.
The whole time I'm running, I sing all the way. And so then a bike will go past and he's like laughing at me. And I think I could probably achieve a lot more while I'm running if I wasn't singing so much.
That was so fun. Love it. Well, Emily, thank you so much for coming on Limitless today. It's been a super fun conversation and you shared some incredible stories. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to Limitless. If you enjoyed today's episode and love hearing the stories of courageous cycle breakers, I'd be grateful if you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Your feedback not only helps others discover the show, but it also amplifies our mission to unlock emotional freedom and true potential. Every review makes a difference in helping more people embrace their limitless life.